Come on, once a year.
I ain't touching it.
Once a year.
Once a year.
You definitely see Christian.
Y'all have 50 people. I can't come up nigga.
Alright, for the people that's on here, it's like mostly beginners on here. What would you give them like starting off? As far as playing.
Man, I think, well, I can just tell you how I came up. I practice. I would go to church about 9 a.m.
Sheesh.
and I wouldn't leave till like 12 midnight.
Man.
So I would listen to choir songs, build up a repertoire of chords in my library, and then once you hear certain songs, you could identify certain chords here and there. But of course, practice. Number one, stay focused, because with you young guys, you guys have a lot of I would call maybe temptations.
Yeah, so
many temptations, so many distractions, especially in this day and time.
Yeah.
I mean, things that y'all can get into is just a click away. So I would say, stay focused on your gift. Realize or make sure that you are cognizant of the gift that God's given you. You can't place it everywhere. Be careful of, man, how can I say this without being, man, be careful, just be careful of who you get yourself involved with.
Yeah.
As far as relationship.
Man, you preaching, man.
Come on,
let's take up an offering.
Hold on.
Come on, Tony.
Come on, Tony getting on next.
Right.
Explain the spirit. Come on.
Just stay prayerful, and then if you're serving under a pastor,
Stay faithful.
man, yeah, do
Loyal,
your best.
faithful,
Yeah, do your best to stay faithful.
The prime example.
Yeah, I mean, I've played the bishop for just about 20 years, and it's been a learning experience. One thing I learned is how to hone in my emotions.
Wow.
So if he fusses or if I don't do something right, I'm not in my feelings. So I take that energy.
That's tough.
It's very tough. So you have to take those emotions, and there's been many a day where Bishop got on my case and my face still had to be cool.
Oh, so that's how you got that face while playing.
The chords.
Okay, I get you.
So that's the main thing that I see a lot of young guys. It's like you can't take correction or you can't take criticism, which is only for your own good. Years later, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, man, I thank God.
Yeah, you taking up off.
I thank God that my pastor or whoever kind of got on me. And a lot of times too, they're not getting on you because you can't play.
Yeah.
So get that out your minds that, man, he's getting on me and I know who I am or I know what I can do. It's not about that. It's really about paying attention to his or her flow, because we are very, very instrumental in helping them deliver the word. You have to be very spiritual, because sometimes we could play the wrong chords at the wrong times, and we could really mess up the flow. Another thing that I learned when I first started at St. James, sometimes the presence of God will come in, and I would be on the floor spitting up bubbles and speaking in tongues and all that stuff. Deacon Norman Scott tapped me on my shoulder, and he said, "Bishop said, get back on the organ."
You got a job.
So I'm like, I'm like, man, I'm trying to go after God, stuff like that. So after I thought about it, I'm like, okay, I see what he's saying. It's like we as musicians, singers, or whatever you do, you have to take what you feel and you have to channel it through your hands.
Praise
and now after that moment is over, if you want to get on the floor, run
Yeah,
around
yeah,
the church,
that's it.
Hey, I would say do that, but sometimes we have to be careful because we may end up hindering a person's
Deliverance. Hey, you hearing this, Aaron Foster?
So yeah, man. So hey, stay faithful, man. Through this pandemic, and man, y'all young guys are like y'all on a whole. Especially
No,
that
sir.
Man, y'all on a whole nother
Come on,
level,
Tony.
man. So,
How
Play
important
some,
is it to have a pastor?
it's
You need to come here, man.
it's very important to have a pastor because he sees things that we don't see.
That's right.
And sometimes we have to get to a place of trust. When the pastor says, "Hey, man, I really don't think you should go there," or "I don't think you should play there,"
Jeez, he didn't say that.
you have to trust him enough to do it. And then later on, you'll be like, "You know what, Bishop? I'm so glad you told me not to do that because X, Y, Z happened, and I would have been right in the middle of it." So. It's very important to have a covering because your covering prays for you. Your covering pays you well to do what you do. So and then on top of that, you have to find your balance between what you do for church and what you do on your own as far as playing gigs and stuff. So make sure that stuff doesn't, clash. And then sometimes your bishop may say, "Hey, I need you Saturday, but you got a gig." So
Priorities come first.
priorities. So you
First,
gotta,
I've did that many of times.
you gotta go with Bishop.
Yup.
So yeah, so it's very important to be faithful because at the end of it, being faithful is, man, it's golden. There's some things that I have been able to do, accomplish, gain because of faithfulness. So, during this pandemic, St. James have been they've been wonderful to me because of faithfulness. So, yeah, stay faithful, prayed up, practice, stay out of trouble. Y'all young folks, y'all got a whole different thing.
What would you say to a young musician? I know you said be faithful, but what would you say to a young musician who, let's say, a church is seeking after, but like they got all of their fame or whatever at the current church that they're playing in? How do you stay faithful?
Man, I think there's so many things you should look at. You should look at why are these people pulling at me? Again, go back to faithfulness. Okay, this is a two-way street because there are times when God will speak to you and say, "Hey, it's time for you to transition. It's time for you to go." But if He did not say that, pretty much stay where you are. Now, we do have a choice. You do have a choice to go where you want to go. But at the end of those choices are consequences.
Yes, sir.
You may get to this new place that you think is popping, and the next month they fire you because you may not be the fit for that ministry.
That's right.
You may not be fit. I mean, you can play your tail off, you can do all that stuff, but you may not be the fit. And then there's another aspect: personality between the musician and the leader or the bishop is very, very important. Because if you don't have that type of camaraderie, you won't last.
No.
You won't last at all. It will always be a tugging of power. I'm doing my thing, but he's doing his thing. So because the clashing,
Submission.
you're going to try to outshine the bishop or stuff like that. So
Yikes.
That's right. Stay pocket.
yeah, and man, there's been many times where I wanted to just. Oh, another thing too. I've experienced places where I would go with Bishop, and the anticipation of Bishop being there and I being there will kind of throw you off because everybody wants you to sit on the organ and just snap. They want you to go, but you have to focus. You have to focus in on the preacher or the bishop.
The bishop say, he always say he's spiritual.
Yeah. So there's been times where I'm like, man, I'm feeling all this pressure to perform. I get up and I jack up, and Bishop look at me, man, you better get anointed.
You better get it.
Because I'm throwing him off.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to deal with that type of pressure with other musicians being around you, and they want you to snap, but you gotta pay attention to what's going on. So.
Yeah, that's Chris.
This cat walked in the door, he got an entourage of 500 people.
Man, hey, that's just Chris, man. Yeah, man, but that's what I've experienced. That's what I've learned over the years. So.
All right, pass. Cool.
I kind of forgot the question. You said a lot. No, okay. So
you gotta figure out the question.
So the question was that it was actually to piggyback on what Christian first question he said about having a covering and having a pastor. Now, what if you in a situation to where you play for another church or several other churches, and then that pastor considers you like a member? You know what I'm saying? And you haven't joined, haven't received the right hand of fellowship, but you've been there for like 5, 6, 7 years. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's just like, and then they have a service. Then your home church has a service at the same time. Like, what do you do with that type of stuff?
Home come first.
I know, but
Well, you know what? I see it like this. It's almost like this saying that it takes a village to raise one. I've been fortunate to not only be under Bishop Campbell, but my uncle and Rockford, couple other great pastors, and I was able to glean from each pastor. So some pastors really have a heart for musicians. They will, sit you down, ask you how you doing. I don't think. Well, of course, your home pastor should be your covering, but also, I would say, glean from them as well, because I've learned from various pastors. So of course, home is always first, but always honor the people you are under as well as far as serving, and glean from them. Yeah, man. Good.
Yes, thank you. Nah, we gotta take him off.
Tony, get Tony. Yes, Tony.
Come on, Tony.
No.
Come on, Tony.
Everybody.
Come on, Tony. Come on, Tony. They want you to get on. Get on, Tony.
Yeah, I promise you played.
Come on, Tony. Don't you crying, bro? Get on.
I'm gonna play